What's cracking, people? I'm Theo Kane, and as you can see today, I'm not in my studio, I'm not in my normal filming location of the Slimehouse HQ. I'm actually hundreds of miles away in a completely different country. And the reason that I'm here today will become clear momentarily, but basically a few weeks ago, I was made an offer that I couldn't say no to, which has brought me here to Zurich in Switzerland to check out a vault that is not only full of rare Japanese toys, but is also jam-packed full of crazy museum-grade collectibles, the kind of stuff that even if you was the luckiest guy on earth, you wouldn't get access to see up close and personal in an entire lifetime. And what's even more mad is that most of it's for sale. So I'm super excited to go and check it out, and obviously I'm buzzing because I get to bring you along for the journey. So if all that sounds like a bit of you, then as always, sit back, make sure you're comfy, and let's do this. So long story short, a few weeks ago I was contacted by Chris Link of Wunderkammer, an art, dinosaur fossil, museum specimen, movie prop collector and dealer from Zurich, who basically told me that he'd recently bought in one of what is probably the most incredible collections of vintage Japanese soft vinyl that's ever been in Europe. So without much messing about, I basically jumped on a plane and headed out to Switzerland and went to check the collection out for myself. Now at this point I'd barely seen anything, so I was super excited to check it out in person and see what all the hype was about, and it's safe to say that when I finally got to lay eyes on it, it were definitely a lot bigger, more vast, and way more impressive than I was ever expecting. Okay, I'm looking straight forward because I've not seen any of this stuff.
Great. So
this
is like Christmas morning.
Christmas morning.
Theo, you ready?
Oh, damn, son. Wowzers. Yeah, this is way more than I thought. And yeah, there's so much stuff that I want to ask you about. Yo. Yeah, there's stuff everywhere. This is going to take a while to get through. And this is one of only 2 rooms that you've got that's full of incredible stuff, right? So We'll concentrate on the toy stuff first. So from what you tell me, you was always a Sofubi collector for like the last 7 years or something. You've been avidly into it in bits and bats. And then recently you got the opportunity to buy the entire collection from someone in some kind of house clearance.
Exactly.
And there was hundreds of people at this house clearance all queuing up. You managed to get there first in the queue.
My friend Josh, shout out to Josh, he owed me a favor. So he was there 7 in the morning, and when the gates opened, he was up front. So he stormed in, and he pretty much said, this is all reserved for the Wunderkammer.
Right, yeah, so from what I heard, there was quite a few people that had travelled many miles to hopefully pick a few pieces out of this collection, but you turned up and said, I'm going to take all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, made a deal on everything, and then that's what we're viewing here right now. And as we can see, as I can see, as you'll be able to see if you're into this stuff, we've got some old stuff, we've got some new stuff, there's some vintage pieces, there's some modern day art toy Sofubi. There's a whole plethora of different kinds of things and different kinds of Sofubi, and I'm really looking forward to having a look through it all. And it's all mixed up into it. We've got a real mix. It's not being curated in any specific kind of way.
No.
You've just got this out of boxes and put it on the shelf.
I put the Bandai ones, I put back there. I told you these are like the only kind of cheaper ones, but there's also some nice stuff.
And these Bandai, although they're cheaper, these are what you would get off the racks. In Japan, still to this day, you can buy these. But these are a lot of these at least are like the 90s ones. And they're also a great entry-level drug, if you want to call it that. Like a great entry-level Sofubi if you wanted to get into it.
This guy, I think is really cool.
From Ultraman.
So maybe you quickly explain that Bandai is the kind of cheaper line. They're all made in China.
Yeah, Bandai is still one of the oldest toy Sofubi and toy production companies in Japan that are still going to this day, with hundreds of different licenses putting out all different stuff from Sofubi to like Gunpla, Gundam toys and things like that. They put out so many different things. If you looked at what licenses Bandai have and have had and have put out over the years, they've taken over the toy game for years and years and years. But when it comes to Sofubi, Bandai in general would probably be seen as the more cheaper stuff, the more entry-level things. But there's still some really nice pieces. Like I know you've got some big Bandai up here, which we'll take a look at later. So you're going to be in a position now where, because you're a collector of Sofubi as well, that you also
I can trade now many.
Have a gallery and do auctions and things, which we'll talk about later. You're in a position where, what do I want to keep and what do I want to put out there? Because if it were me, I'd just want to keep all of it. some tiger mask. I shot a video in Italy last year. My friend, he had a whole bag of these old tiger mask figures. These are really sought after. These are really popular. That's a beautiful King Joe as well from Ultraman. What is this guy? He's a modern day one, but he's cool. The beautiful thing I think as well about Sofubi, you kind of don't even really have to know what things are from. If you start collecting Sofubi, you just buy what you think looks cool. At least that's what I did when I first started, and I never looked back.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Like about 60-70% of the figures I've never seen in my life. And I'm like, I don't even know where they're from.
You would have to be a madman to know the name of every single figure here.
Yeah.
You would have to be on some crazy level of Japanese knowledge and tokusatsu knowledge and stuff. Like, I know a lot of these, but there's so many that I don't know.
I mean, just,
Tiger mask.
Yeah, just look at them.
Yeah.
And just like the quality, like the boots are even like individual pieces, all stamped. I think that's, and then even, okay, it has a little crack.
And when you're in Japan as well, like if you was buying this and
Yeah.
it had the tiniest crack, they'll show you every defect on it.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't care, put it in the bag. I don't care if it's got a little crack or a little scuff. That's a beautiful Great Maz there.
Yeah, from what show are these guys?
That's Great Maz from Mazinger.
Okay. This colorway on that is amazing.
Oh yeah, Red Baron.
This guy is amazing too.
Oh, Jet Jaguar, that's my hero.
Yeah, that was one of the few he picked out.
The devil man, the devil man. Look at that. And with the mask as well. I don't even want to take the mask off because I don't want to crack it even more. And this is nice. I don't know who this is. They'll have to let me know in the comments who this guy is. Again, another modern day art toy Sofubi that I'm not familiar with the artist.
Look,
Just a really cool standout
I'm gonna
piece.
show you something.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. There's a little guy inside.
Look, like it's like a worker that
Yeah.
does Zen Buddhism, kind
it's
of
got like a
is
little-
meditating.
It's got a hard hat with a
Yeah.
miner's lamp on it. When you see a mushroom-headed Sofubi like this, it's usually from an old Toho horror movie called Matango. Mushroom People, another popular one.
Then we have Paul
It's an old
Kaiju.
Toho film. Paul Kaiju, yeah. And this is, I mean, if anybody was like thinking, oh, how do I tell the difference between a modern day Sofubi and a vintage one? I mean, you can just look how crisp and nice that paint job is. This guy from Ultraman is one of the most famous Ultraman bad guys. He's appeared in the show in so many forms, so he's called Red King.
So when I was in Japan in 2014, the first time, this is the guy I bought on the flea market.
Yeah.
But now I have another one because I sold it. Now I have it again.
Well, just up here, I noticed one earlier, and I want to get this one myself. I need to get a copy of this thing. That's a really nice Red King.
Yeah.
Same, we got Baltan here from Ultraman. He's another classic Ultraman villain, kaiju adversary.
love him.
You will have seen many times, even if you're not familiar with the guy's name. But another absolute classic character right there.
This also, right? You have that, I know.
Yeah, Gomorrah. I got it from Toy-Con, from the same set. So that's what I'm saying. You've got the full set. Like I really want these two to go with my one. Do you know what I mean? This is as I got more into it, I started getting into like the big statements of Sofubi pieces. I'd rather pick up one big thing.
I love the paint.
And the fact that he's brown and he's not like bright pink and blue and stuff makes it feel more vintage and more old school to me. And this is cool with the mixed media. So you've got the Sofubi with a separate helmet and then like a leather belt, a bit of cloth. I recently did a video talking all about mixed media, especially in Sofubi, and that's like a prime example of a really early prime example of mixed media on Sofubi. He's awesome.
I mean, I'm really drawn to all this stuff because it's very dinosaur related. So we're
Yeah.
going to talk about that later. But of course, I'm mostly working with real dinosaur fossils. And look, I told you about, so if you see this guy back there, the gray one, these are the old plaster figures from 1908 I told you about.
So these were made for university students to
Yes,
study back
yes.
in
1908.
in 1908,
Yeah.
turn of the century.
Yes.
Wow.
So I thought we could actually do a little project where we either cast them or 3D scan them and then make them into. Look at the whole thing.
That's
it
incredible.
looks like a Sofubi.
They're from like Peaky Blinders era. They're like so old.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could make a whole separate Slimehouse video just about those things. How many of those do you have?
There I put, because I needed space for the Sofubis, I put them down here.
Okay,
Look,
okay.
they're all here. There's the
Yeah.
Pteranodon, Triceratops. There is even a Dimetrodon. So they look at this. They use these little figures.
He looks
in
like he's about to get on the Titanic.
Yeah, and they used it for
For
size
scale.
for scale.
That is insane.
That's so cool.
Turn of the century dinosaurs. And look what they thought they looked like back then. It reminds me of that iguanodon that's in London when they thought they was walking on all fours that we've spoke about before.
Yeah, and they all broke. I mean, I Googled. I tried with ChatGPT. Nobody seems to own these. They're all broke because they're plaster. So
they are amazing. They're beautiful one-off pieces. In the intro, I spoke about how you're a person that has a collection of things that's like once in a lifetime stuff. The stuff that you could spend a whole lifetime and never see one up close in person. I'll never see something that old, that pristine,
let's do
and that
Sofubi.
unique ever again.
We
Yeah, I
should
know,
do,
but
we should do that.
we are doing Sofubi, but they are
Yeah.
really, really cool. Oh, you've got Giant Majin, Baragon. These are nice. Again, these are 90s pulls, but when they repulled all these in the 90s from the old original Bullmarks, they released them all again in crazy colorways. And in many ways, I'm much more of a fan of the 90s ones, just because of how cool the colors are that they chose to use for them.
It's a nice Kamen Rider
tin
toy.
Oh, of course, yeah.
With the box.
Kamen Rider one, you got with the box as well. This here is one of the most popular Sofubi. Hedorah from Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. And there's so many different versions of this thing, but whether it's vintage, whether it's modern, Hedorah is always a character that just sells and slaps and people go crazy for. I really want to create my own version of Hedorah at some point, just because I feel like it would be a simple but fun sculpt to get into. But yeah, really, really popular. There's another one. Look at this one.
Oh, the big one is amazing. That is
bloody hell fire. Look at this guy. Look at he's got the long tail at the back. I think this might be a repaint because it's a little bit messy and stuff on the base. It feels like somebody's just bought like a Toho Hedorah and repainted it. Look at the eyes. I love when they use like the doll eyes. And yeah, talk about a monster that's supposed to be made up out of the smog of Tokyo and toxic slime and radiation. Like, it don't get more toxic than that. Geronimon, that's this guy, Geronimon from Ultraman. He's a bit like a Godzilla / rooster.
Yes, that's Bandai.
The only like Godzilla movie that was literally made just for kids, and all the Godzilla characters speak in that. They're subtitled and they're talking, and it all takes place in the dream of a little kid where he's getting bullied, and in his dream, Godzilla's son, he's getting bullied by this guy.
And then we have a whole lot of Godzilla here.
This is where we get to Godzilla. Lots of Mecha Godzilla. We didn't even talk about the Mecha Godzilla, but there's so many that I can see when I'm looking around.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Mech Godzillas.
Just on that shelf.
Really, really like this.
Yeah, look at that. He's like camo / cloud.
So
I've got a small version of it. And we've got some Real Head here. You will have seen Real Head in my Toy-Con videos. He's a guy that the second he sets up at Toy-Con, there's a huge queue of people wanting to buy his stuff. In terms of modern day Sofubi, he's like a real king, and people go crazy for Real Head. And as you can see, the body is always kind of similar, kind of the same silhouette, but then we have different hands, different heads, and often a scarf, or in this guy's case, a little bit of colourful fur.
Yeah, I love
He looks like he's off to the club.
The Mech Bear.
Yeah. I've got the small version of this, but he is dope.
This is one of the very few I picked up in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, you picked this one up yourself,
yes.
so this is your personal one.
Yes,
This is not for sale.
Because I liked it, because it's really big.
So this says Giras, and Giras is basically, they just took the Godzilla suit and put a frill on its neck and put it in Ultraman for an episode.
Very minty.
Very minty. He looks like candy.
And look at this, you can see it's like made up of like little trash pieces. That looks like a rifle, a wheel, like little bits of mechanical parts stuck in. It looks like it came out of a garbage bin, you know, like a huge
we love
industrial garbage bin or something like that.
Made up of junk and trash. There's a couple of other pieces over here as well, isn't there, that I want to get to as well, that I want to look at. You've got them spread out over here. Like, look at this. Again, a really nice, interesting design to have his tail all coiled up like a serpent. And look at the stamp on the base of this thing. 2014. Made in Japan. And not that I know who the artist is, I can just tell by looking at it. And we've got, again, some of that really nice mixed media that I'm into with the string putting his armor on. Almost like a Matchbox Fighting Furies figure. Oh, okay, yeah, we got a hold of a little set here. This is really nice. Mirror Man.
I love him. This is so cool. It's so Art Deco.
Mirror Man is nice, yeah. Not the most famous Sofubi, but Tokusatsu hero. But yeah, I always like Mirror Man. I think he's got a great face. Another King Ghidorah here.
This one is in a bit
The
better
Bullmark.
shape.
So this to me is, without knowing 100%, but I would be very confident in saying that's an original Bullmark. That's the original. I think you've got over there a repull of it. You could go grab that repull and we'll see next to him. But that to me is an original Bullmark King Ghidorah there. A really, really nice piece. So to me, original repull. That's what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments if you disagree.
They're both nice in its
Oh, they're both beautiful in their own way.
Funny
Yeah.
enough, is the old one. It seems to be almost in better shape than the.
You've got the two guys from War of the Gargantuas, which originally started as Frankenstein versus Baragon, and then the sequel to that is War of the Gargantuas, with these two big dudes fighting, which also apparently was Quentin Tarantino's inspiration for El Driver and Beatrix Kiddo fighting in the caravan in Kill Bill 2. He showed him that fight scene from this movie and goes, I want it to be like that. Apparently.
But I thought it was
I
still.
believe this guy is the first ever Kamen Rider villain, the spider dude from the first ever episode.
Okay.
I believe that's who he is. So he's definitely a tasty piece.
Great.
Because not only is he a vintage piece, he's got his belt, his separate belt, and he's the first ever Kamen Rider villain from the first ever episode. Godzilla versus Ebora.
Two different colorways.
Yeah, two different colorways. Again, because I think similar to the King Ghidorahs, you've got the original and the 90s version.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I mean, there's so many pieces here. I could spend a whole weekend, a whole week talking about every individual piece. There's too much to get through in just the few hours that we've got because I've got to jump on a plane back home soon. But, I mean, as somebody like myself that spent many years looking at vintage toys, somebody like you that spent many years looking at antiques and skeletons and vintage toys and all sorts of cool stuff, I think we can both agree that the Sofubi just hits different. When you see this much of it on a shelf, individual pieces have enough aura and enough about them that can brighten up a room. But when you see this much on a shelf, you can really see why people have such a love for Sofubi. How a lot of people spend years collecting vintage action figures and then find out about this stuff, and all of a sudden this is all that they want to collect and all that they want to have in their collection. And I mean, I suppose you was a bit like that, right? You was into vintage action figures and stuff, but you were saying now that you've got onto the Sofubi thing in this amount as well, like your attitude towards old toys has changed.
No, it's mostly all the things dinosaur related that drew me into this world, but just touching them and smelling them, I mean, also the vinyl taste. Like when you walk into this room, now it's overwhelming because there's so many. But yeah, absolutely. Like my old Motu and Star Wars toys, they don't really feel cool anymore in a way. I mean, they're still okay, but this is just, Sofubi is just...
It just hits different, right?
Yeah.
What is also really interesting, I think, is none of this stuff is anything that either of us grew up with. We've got no nostalgic attachment to these figures. The movies that they're from, the TV shows and stuff I watched growing up. But the actual toys, I didn't have any of these growing up because they weren't available in the UK, they weren't available in Switzerland. So like, what do you think it is about these old toys that draws us to them, even though nostalgically we have no attachment to them? But when we start collecting them, this is all you really want in your collection. What is it about? What magic do they have over us?
I truly think the Japanese have their way with form and color and proportion, and in some ways these colorways they just hit right. I don't know, people that like Sofubi will understand. It's just like you touch them and they feel right.
No, they do. And even though you're a collector yourself and you do have a sizable collection of Sofubi and stuff, you're not keeping all these. Many of these are either for sale or for trade, either in auction or privately. How can people get in touch with you if they're looking at buying some of these? don't get me wrong, when this video drops, you're probably going to get inundated with emails from people that want to look at this specific one. But if people do want to get in touch with you, they are interested in purchasing one or two or whatever, like where is the best place to hit you up and when are these going to be available?
Yeah, because now I'm actually, in a week, I'm flying out to New York. I'm going to stay there for 7 weeks to conduct our first natural history dinosaur auction in New York. But when I'm back, the end of November, I'll take time and look at all the emails people write me. And the best way to contact me is maybe over Instagram, Wunderkammer_Zurich.
I'll link it in the video,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
And I'll also see that you get a little goodie if I get overwhelmed by
Okay,
people.
no.
And tradings are actually...
Yeah, everybody
trading.
hit him up and message him. Because if he makes a drink on these, then I get a little something, so that's awesome.
I mostly like to trade, to be honest, because I have a couple of multiples and I have too many. I mean, I can't keep them all. I mean, I could, but I need space for movie props and meteorites.
Yeah. And we're going to get into the other stuff in a separate video. We're going to go and film some of that now because there's so many things just in this room, and he has a separate showroom that's full of curiosities and taxidermy, skeletons, and lots of movie props and things that I'm like so excited to see, one-off stuff that, like I said, you could live a whole lifetime and never get the chance to see up close and personal, real one-off pieces. So we're going to get into them. But before we wrap this up, I've got a little Sofubi for you, which I want to grab.
Yeah,
I'm going to grab a little thing for you that I've brought for you.
So, jetzt hoffe ich muss nicht nur spielen, dass ich es mega cool finde.
Okay, are we rolling? So there's a little something in here. Nothing too amazing. I mean, compared to some of this stuff, it's not going to look very good. But I was up last night, the night before I left here, finishing the paint job on this. This is one that I've made. One of one colorway.
That's amazing.
One in the world for you. There's 3 of these in the world, but there's one in this paint job that I made myself for you.
So cool. Yeah, I watched the video.
Yeah, you know the video.
Yeah, I know the video. That is amazing, man.
So what's interesting about this is not even made in a factory. I've 3D printed this in a specific way to replicate Sofubi. Like I said, it's not a factory-made Sofubi. Myself and some other people around the world are learning how to 3D print Sofubi style, but you can squish it. It feels like a Sofubi. Yeah. You put it on here, and you would not know a difference. But this is something that I was taught. I asked questions by a guy out in Japan called Shinmaru, who kind of pioneered this. And then there's only a few of these in the world. I've not made any to sell or anything like that, but this is your exclusive colorway, one of one for you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Just say thank you for inviting me down and for letting me see all this stuff in person and giving me the opportunity to be able to see some stuff that, like I said, is like once in a lifetime. So yeah, enjoy. Not for sale.
This is from it could be from the Turtles, you know, the figure.
Yeah. Well, it's based on the Megacerops from the old At the Earth's Core movie. So you'll know what a Megacerops is. It looks nothing like this. But in that movie, that's what it looks like. So yeah, enjoy, brother. That one's for you. No problem.
Cool. Thanks.
You son of a bitch. If you enjoyed this video today, then please don't forget to give it a like. Also, don't forget to give it a hype and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As I just mentioned, this was one of 2 videos that I filmed in the 24 hours that I spent in Zurich. So if you're into screen-used movie props and incredible one-off pieces from films and TV shows, then make sure you stay tuned for that one, because honestly, what I saw in this room only scratched the surface of the other awesome stuff in Chris's collection. I will put all the information down below on Chris's upcoming Sofubi sale that he's going to be doing when he gets back from New York. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to help support projects like this, then I do have a Patreon. I'm going to be going on a massive trip very soon, covering some more incredible stuff that I'm so excited to share with you. So if you want to help support those kind of videos, or the toy making stuff that I do back at Slimehouse HQ, or anything else that I've got going on here at Slimehouse, then that's the best place to do it. Once again, I want to say a massive thank you to Chris for inviting me out to Switzerland, and I really can't wait to show you what else we got up to, so hopefully I'll catch you in that video as well. But until next time, I'm Theo Kane, this is Slimehouse TV, and I'm gone. Pow! What's cracking, people? I'm Theo Kane, and as you can see today, I'm not in my studio, I'm not in my normal filming location of the Slimehouse HQ. I'm actually hundreds of miles away in a different country. And the reason for that will become clear very, very soon, but basically, there's a train in the way. We go again.